fourth day since the coup in the Republic of Benin has been thwarted, of course, by Nigeria's intervention through its sponsorship by the French government. Now, for the people of Benin Republic, this might be business as usual. Now the coup has been thwarted and the same administration led by Patrice Talon will continue. The hope of being free has been slammed once again on them. So, I mean, under the leadership of Patrice Talon, life again continues. But what we cannot forget is that what Bola Tinibu, the president of Nigeria, has done. I mean, by his intervention in Benin's affair, he has opened a Pandora box that we will never forget, and people will continue to question. Now, these are his intervention in Benin coup has led to a criticism from not only some Nigerians, I mean many Nigerians who already have been accusing his administration because now he was quick to act on this foreign affair, although it's a neighboring country, but was reluctant to address a home issue, which is a Boko Haram thing. So now this Pandora box in it, it has, first of all, the priority action. Is it handling the domestic issue is a priority, or handling a foreign affair is a priority? It has also raised a constitutional and legal debate. It has also raised a public sentiment and also a sovereignty concern, which is, by that, Nigeria has called the goal on itself, because it's the same principles that it has been saying to the United States. Now it has done exactly the same thing. Now let's unpack this one by one. When I say the Pandora box, first of all, what Bola Tinubu has done is against the Nigeria law. Under the Constitution of Nigeria, it clearly prohibits the deployment of any kind of force, whether be it an air force or a ground force or whatever. It prohibits the intervention of or deployment of any force of Nigeria into a foreign country. Okay, they might say justified through ECOWAS, this and that, but under the Nigerian constitution, because first and foremost, his accountability, meaning Tinubu's accountability, is to the people who he is governing, and those are Nigerians. Okay, now what do I mean by this? For example, when he sent his air force to Benin, in the airspace of Benin, he did not seek the approval of the Senate of Nigeria. It was later on in the evening, actually, he got the approval even to deploy the ground force. So he did not ask the approval of the Senate. So this is now violating the constitution, okay? But more so, it has also opened the Pandora box of, first of all, this clearly, tells us Tinibu, Bola Tinibu, whom we have known is kind of an errand boy for the Western government, the French government, to the Western allies. He is like that, in the words of this very much known journalist David Hunedi or Hundei. I might have mispronounced his last name, but he says it's a homeboy. So Tinubu has demonstrated that he is like a homeboy of French government. The French government or Macron has tweeted, and in his tweet, he clearly said, "I have spoken to Bola Tinibu, and as per his request, meaning Bola Tinibu's request, that he is engaging or supporting, this act of intervention in Benin." But what more so, I mean, this is not news that Bola Tinubu is in bed with the French government or the United States or in general, the Western governments. But also it shows us this new relationship that is entering the French government and the African countries, that after being kicked out of the Sahel states, the French government is hugely engaging itself with the non-francophone countries of the continent who have not been the colonies of um, the French uh, the French government. Okay, so now you have this unique Macron Tinibu relationship in the West Africa. Nigeria, it was not a French colony. And then you have the Macron Ruto relationship in Eastern Africa. Again, still staying in Eastern Africa, you have the Macron Kagame of Rwanda relationship. You have also Macron Lorenzo, the president of Angola. Now, all these countries, Nigeria, Kenya, Rwanda, and Angola, were not colonies of the French government previously, except Rwanda, which is a different case. But now France is engaging these countries, and in fact, the next International Francophone Organization summit will be held in Kenya. So it shows you how France is becoming again, trying to catch up what it has lost in the Sahel states and others who have, a sentiment of against the French government. Now, another Pandora box that is opened is that this coup, if anything, it reveals that, the way the Nigerian government has, just acted in a phone call instruction from Emmanuel Macron without even asking the approval of his Senate, tells you that how much this coup meant, meaning it was a coup that clearly, if it was successful, it was a kind of a coup that was anti-imperialist, which has the potential of to be the likes of the Sahel states like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. So if you see, just like a week ago, there was a coup in Guinea-Bissau, but did we see the same reaction from Nigeria, Bola Tinubu? No, we haven't. Did we see the same reaction from the so-called this international and continental organizations like ECOWAS and the African Union? No, we haven't seen, because that was just a fake coup. But this one, the action of Nigeria and then the French government, it tells you, and AU and ECOWAS, it was in a harmonized way. It tells you that this coup was a critical one. If it was successful, it was anti-imperialist coup, the likes of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. So just to give you the timeline, it was early morning that those military officers announced on the national television of the Benin Republic that they have taken over to restore back the constitution that Patrice Talon has amended, which he was not supposed to, like extending the presidential term, appointing his successor, excluding the opposition political parties, this and that. This happened early morning on Sunday. And then by the midday on Sunday, you have already, the Nigerian Air Force is in the airspace of Benin, attacking the people, attacking the military force, and then also dispersing the people who were, by the way, this is not something that you don't see in the Western media. The people in Benin were already rejoicing in that few hours in the morning when they heard the military officers, those military officers, announcing that they have taken over. Okay, now by midday already the loyal force have taken back, and they said they have thwarted the coup. And then in the evening we have the interior minister of the Benin Republic coming on a national television and announcing that the coup has been thwarted. So this was a time lion, a very, very quick one that made Bola. Why Bola Tinubu did not act the way he acted in Guinea-Bissau, in which the coup happened just a week ago. In fact, the ex-president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, happened to be the observer of Guinea-Bissau election, and the result was there, but it was not announced. ECOWAS committee's delegation was there. The African Union delegation was there, but they did not tell us the result. What the president did is, on the evening, on the same day that the result was supposed to be announced, he created his own fake coup, and he fled to the Republic of Congo Republic. So that's what he did. So Goodluck Jonathan, the ex-president, was part of the delegation of as an observer from ECOWAS, said that Nigeria should expose it, the result. Also, ECOWAS should do it, the African Union should do it, because that much they owe to the people of Guinea-Bissau. But everybody was zipping their mouths because this was not anti-imperialist coup. It was just another errand boy in the block. So why should they do something? So all this, beg to inform us this coup was had it been successful, it was an anti-imperialist coup. Okay, so this is what it exposed. Now, another thing what we can look at is that what this meant for the Confederation of the Alliance of the Sahel States if this coup was successful. First of all, let's look at actually the main part. As we all know, I mean, if you have been following the news in the Sahel states, at least the last revolution happened in Niger. It was 2021 Mali, 2022 Burkina Faso, and then 2023 July in Niger. Now, when that revolution happened in Niger, Bola Tinibu, this is also another example, okay? Bola Tinibu did not did not intervene the way it intervened now in Benin. That time he followed the rule. He gathered the leaders of the ECOWAS member states, and then also he talked to the Senate of his own country, which it was not approved by the congressmen in his countries, by the Senate people in his country. And ECOWAS was also divided into two, some supporting the intervention, some not supporting. But at the end, it was his own people, the Senate, the governors, who told Bola Tinibu he should not deploy any force, not intervene in the affairs of Niger. So it didn't happen. So it shows you. But this time, of course, they have taken a lesson. There is no way. If he brought it to his Senate, if he brought it to the ECOWAS member states, he knows what kind of reaction he will get. So he has to ask and quickly implement the instruction he get from his colonial master. Well, Nigeria was not, as per se, the colony of the French government. But, right now we see this indirect neocolonialism or direct neocolonialism that France has on Nigeria. So that's also another example that shows you, the way why it happened so quickly shows you how this coup was critical. It was an anti-imperialist coup, a revolutionary one that it would have joined actually with the alliance of the Sahel states. Now that will lead us what it means if had it been this coup was successful to the alliance of the Sahel state. Number one, there was a spot, this diplomatic spot between Benin and Niger, meaning Benin is again and again accused of training terrorists in its territory. General Abraham Tihani, in his rare interviews that he gives from time to time, like maybe in once in 3 months or in 6 months, he has clearly noted that there is a secret place in the territory of Niger, actually on the border between Benin and Burkina Faso, where the terrorists are being trained. And those terrorists come inside the territory of Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, attack, and they go back to their base, which is Benin. Okay, so that is one. So this could have been neutralized if this coup was successful. Okay, that is one. So these, of course, trainers are again and again. We have been told by Captain Ibrahim Traore, General Abraham Tihani, and then Colonel Asim Goita of Mali that the terrorists have sponsors, and we have to call them by their name. He said the likes of France, the likes of Ukraine, and others, their allies. So all this could have been neutralized if the coup in Benin was successful. That's number one. That's what it meant. Number two, what it meant for the confederation of the alliance of the Sahel states is that again, I will bring the Niger in this example. You remember that Niger, I mean, one of all the three countries of the alliance of the Sahel states, one of the strategic disadvantage that they have is being landlocked, not having access to the sea, not having access to the Atlantic Ocean. So the Atlantic Sea. This is really the main strategic disadvantage that these countries have. So if the coup was successful and was anti-imperialist, Benin will join, and then they will have a direct access of the sea, direct access to the port, and that would mean, of course, it will strengthen their economy, because once you become part of this confederation of the Sahel states, there's economic ties, security ties, there's political ties. So everything would have been solved for them. So right now, another example that I can give you is that before the revolution happened in Niger, there was a pipeline that was started to be built in Niger, a pipeline for oil and gas. So it was being built. So when the revolution happened, General Abraham Triani has sped up the building of this pipeline, or the construction of this pipeline. So the pipeline was, of course, Niger don't have a sea access or a port. It was directly built more than 2,000 kilometers to the port of Benin, so that from there they can export, whether it is a crude oil or a refined oil. And it was going to be exported, the first one, to China, because China gave a loan for Niger to construct that pipeline, more than 2,000 kilometers, and then the loan to be paid, I think, in a year time, by exporting exporting that crude oil, and then they get that's how it was supposed to be paid back. But guess what? After everything finished, Benin was giving the green light and everything, and then when it is about to ship the first shipment of oil to China, Benin closed the border in the name of security issue. Okay, this is what said. Oh, we have some spies from Niger, this and that, and they have closed their border. And guess what? All that cost that is invested on that pipeline thrown out of the window, because even if Niger tried to solve the issue, Benin continued to be an ally. Of course, denying them this kind of economic opportunity would mean is like killing them, right? So that's how Benin sabotaged Niger. So again, coming back to the point, what it meant for the alliance of the Sahel states, had it been this potentially an anti-imperialist coup become successful, means that all these problems could have been solved. Now, number four, I would like to raise how this raised, meaning Tinibu, that's our starting point, Tinibu intervening in Benin affairs. It has raised a sovereignty concern, but as I call it, Nigeria has scored a goal on itself, on its own. Okay, you know how bad that is, because you all remember Donald Trump when he made this alleged accusation against Nigeria that there's a killing of Christians in Nigeria by Boko Haram, and the United States would like to take, I might be paraphrasing, but that is the whole sense of it, that might intervene and to save Christians there. Okay. Now, how did Nigeria argue back? What was the reaction of the government of Bola Tinibu to the United States? So if you remember, what they said was that you do not intervene in the affairs of Nigeria. We will take care of our own business. So this is what in Nigeria has its own constitution, its own capacity, this and that. So what it did is, now by intervening without even consulting, at least Donald Trump has put the message out there, and he has got a lot of backlash with this with this message. He didn't do it, but he kind of tested the water. But Nigeria quickly taking action without consulting his own people, Bola Tinubu, without consulting his Senate, without consulting even ECOWAS. ECOWAS is anyway his backyard. He can ride it as he likes. He was a chairman. I don't know, like for how long he continues to be a chairman, but it is like his backyard. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. Anyway, without any approval, he did that within few hours, right? So this means that on the other side of the coin, it gives the United States a permission to intervene in Nigeria's affairs, to come in its airspace or whatever they are bringing and do whatever they want, because, okay, now you are going and intervening in the affairs of your neighbor country, whatever it is, a foreign country. That means we can also do the same, because this was your reasoning, this was your justification to say you cannot meddle in our affairs. But look at you now, you are doing this. So who are you? We can do the same. That's what it gives to the United States. Okay. That's number 4. Number 5, I would also want to raise another Pandora box that it opened, that is at home within Nigeria, which is the issue of priority of action. Was it what was important? To meddle in the affairs of a foreign country? It can be a neighbor, it can share border, whatever it is. But you have a burning issue at home, which is the Boko Haram issue, which they are linked one time with Al Qaeda, one time with ISIS, one time with this and that. And on top of that, you have abducted girls by this group. And you just ignore all that and go to meddle to the neighboring country or to a foreign country. So what is priority for Bola Tinibu? Is it implementing what he was instructed by President Emmanuel Macron, or is it to take care of his own affairs at home? That is the question. Now, every Nigerian is waking up after what happened in Benin, intervening in Benin's affairs, sending an airplane, Air Force airplane, and also now deploying ground force. So now every Nigeria is waking up with the question, okay, if we have this kind of capacity of our military, then why you did not solve the issue of Boko Haram? Why you did not bring back our daughters for so long? Guess what? Right after that happened, on the next day, the Benin thing was on December 7 on Sunday, and then on Monday, 100 girls were brought back to their family. Guess what? Guess what? You are doing this now because the people started to ask. And then another thing that it reveals is you are not arresting anyone who committed those abduction of those girls. You just bring back the girls. Do you think you can just get away with that? I mean, for so long we have been reading and hearing analysts that President Bola Tinubu has a link or working together with Boko Haram. So you're just approving that. So now all this is to say, if anything, what Nigeria did in Benin exposed Bola Tinubu and all accusations that we have been hearing about him. Okay, so this is what I wanted to bring to you in this video. Now, I want to invite you to listen, what Wole Soyinka says. He's a great author, playwright, and poet in Nigeria. And there was this investigative journalist media award, and he sarcastically pointed out this because, he happened to see that when he was in one hotel and he sees this big security entourage for the son of Bola Tinubu in Nigeria, by the way, okay, in the country. And you can't imagine. So he said first it was a joke, but then, look what he says. Let me just play that for you.
Home visits, this about 2 months ago. I was coming out of a hotel and I saw what looked like a film set. And I looked around. There was nearly a whole battalion occupying the grounds of that hotel, in Ikoyi, right here. So I got back in my car and I asked the driver who that young man was. And he told me. And I saw this SWAT team, a mixture. They were at least heavily armed, at least some 15 or so heavily armed to the teeth security personnel. Looked sufficient to take over a small country, neighboring city like Benin. And I think the next time the president should just call and say, Sheyi, go and quell the rebellion over there. Later on, I did some investigative journalism and I inquired, and I found that apparently this is how this young man goes around with his battalion, these heavy armed soldiers. Of course, the road was cleared before his car went out. I stayed until it seemed he was leaving. So next time there's an insurrection, I think the president should just call that young man and say, "Come on, put down those stupid people there. You have enough troops under your command, so don't bother me with all these security issues any longer."
Look at the entourage of security.
Let's not overdo things.
Voice.
So that big intro of security was for the son of Bola Tinibu, and Wole Soyinka was sarcastically saying, okay, next time there is an insurrection or a coup, whatever, in a neighboring country, he can't tell his son, just send your battalion to Benin or whatever it is and fix it, okay? And let's not overdo the thing. That was his message. So now, if anything, what Nigeria also, I want to add this, did is, with that intervention, is also it's a fear of what is going to happen at home, because if they let that happen, he knows Bola Tinubu is not a person that was popularly elected or people were behind him that they voted for him. He came to power by fraud, so he did not win that election anyway. That was it for now, but let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this? I really, it's really, really sad to see all this, but let's see if he shows any kind of accountability. But it lies within the hands of the Nigerian people. They're the one who can fix Tinibu. It was those governors who stopped him from intervening in Niger. Now the same governance should put Tinibu back and stop meddling in the affairs of other countries, and also not to allow French to dictate the French government to dictate the country. But I will leave that to the Nigerians. Let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this? It's a bye-bye for me for now. Thank you all. I see that the comment section, the chat section, it was busy. A lot of you have been have engaged. Thank you at Flamani for your super sticker. Bonus big well. Let me try just at least to read once from, okay, Sister Catherine. I wonder how many people died from this. Yeah, definitely. Those are the things we haven't seen. And then also how the people were supporting the coup, actually. That's what. Tinibu and Nigeria leadership are enemies of the Nigeria people. Yeah. This is a very, yes, Sister Honorine. Guada 9, Tinibu is Mark. Yeah, that's what we see. Jordan Brook, hello. Niger has just laid down a dangerous precedent to the 10 remaining Franco-African neo-colonies. If they attempt to escape French subjugation through military coups, they can expect. Okay, I'm just passing to see. I wonder if anyone is going to confront Tinibu about his unilateral decision. If any soldiers were killed, I think the citizenry of various countries in ECOWAS will have something to say. Well, it's, I think, again, in the hands of Nigerian people. Perhaps the French now release the girl to Tinibu to thank him for being a good spy of his. Thank you very much again for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.